Hello and welcome. I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on a program for similarity of tunes. And one of the things we've been working towards is making the view drive from a pipeline that knows the sources, sinks, and transformations. And we've come a long ways on that, but we've got a problem with updates. So we verified that the model part, the pipeline and all that, has got the right values, but when you change it, the view doesn't update. All right. One of the things I was worried about is, let's see, get down to where the pipeline's created. Here. This pipeline is just a bare object being created and passed into the view. And we've got it saying pipeline is an argument. Here it is. Okay. And then it passes it along to everybody else. But my concern was, gee, we don't have a state object for the pipeline. Is that an issue? And I found an article that pretty much says, yeah, you got a problem, which makes sense to me. I mean, normally you're supposed to declare them as state objects. What I hadn't realized was you can actually declare them in the app. I don't know if this one mentioned that. No. Well, at any rate, you can declare it in the app as a state object, or you can declare it in your own view. State object tells the view, I depend on this view, and I basically own the instance of it. And Swift UI then says, okay, well, let me manage that for you. I'll just keep it over here. And then when I replace the view, because I replace views all the time with their own thing, we'll just pull that value back in and use it, and you'll have access to it. So they also provided a solution here, and I want to try that first thing here. So what they've said is we've got somebody's passing in the model to us, and we really do need to declare a state object to own it. So I think we've got to do that. And then the way they pass it in, it's sort of like, you can do this with binding too, but when you have a property wrapper like this, it really creates sort of a shadow variable, or you can create this sort of shadow variable, usually the variable with an underscore, that holds other information or whatever metadata. And in this case, the underscore model is going to hold the state object, and it wraps the actual model. Okay, so we will go ahead and do this, because I feel like that probably is at least a lot of the problem. All right, let's run it, see what I'm talking about. Okay, and we did at one point try and take out these state objects for all the stages. I think if we do this, it didn't work, but I think if we do this pipeline, this might be possible. So that'll be good too. All right, what's over here? Okay, so we have our pipeline here. File input, I should be able to, well, I can select filters because we're doing them the old way. We're doing them with separate, we have called it select one, but it's a constraint that enforces the radio button style on these, on the sources and sinks. The sinks at the bottom use the old way. The source at the top uses the new one. I should be able to click on here, and this should have replaced with the manual input. Now, if I were to run the statistics report, it says input manually edited text. Okay, so I actually do have the manual input open, but I can't edit it because it's not visible. All right, so that's a reflection that the pipeline knows the right thing, but the display has not updated. All right, and I can click it back. And notice also, well, yesterday we were getting these weird blinks as it shuffled something in, but I'm not sure why that's not happening today or visible anyway. Okay, but that stuff is okay. All right, so what I want to do, right now we have whole body as a method. I want to make it a whole separate view so it can own that pipeline. Excuse me. So let's just declare it in here for now. Whole body is a view, and like all views, it's got a body of some view, and we got to find those contents. Okay, is this whole body? Yes. Okay, so down to the bottom of it, right. That we were playing around with that. That may or may not make any difference. Okay. Let's see. So there. And we don't have pipelines, so we got to deal with that. Okay. And settings changed. So settings changed is actually an environment object for us. This is the owner, but this thing passes, well, no. This thing passes settings changed down. Okay, so let's take this, and I would love to get rid of that thing too, but that's another whole minor issue compared to this. Okay, so we got settings changed. Pipeline, well, I'm going to adopt this approach here. I'm going to say create a state object and make the variable for it, and then initialize it with the state object. Okay, so okay, and then state object bar pipeline of pipeline, and then with the init, well, I don't think we named it down here. No. Okay, just to not break anybody. Pipeline of pipeline. Sorry, to not break them, I've got to put the neutral name. Okay, what do we want to do? Well, we want to say pipeline, underscore pipeline equals state object wrapped value pipeline. Okay, so that's saying we're passing in a pipeline to create this view, and it's going to wrap up the pipeline into a state object, and then store that as the property wrapper's underlying state object. Okay. Any complaints? One. Generic parameter. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, so I think here we should be able to call whole body with capital whole. Get to the class. All right. And this unit tests aren't involved in this. I don't know a good way to test this UI stuff with unit tests. There are these screen tests, UI tests, but they're kind of painful. Okay, yes, good, good, good. All right, now it's manual input, and it looks like manual input. Okay. Now let's check everything else. Let's say eighth notes. Pull this out, put it back. Okay, good. Statistics report, I should be able to select a field. Ooh, something's up. Oh, no tunes. Yeah. Let's open a file. No scaling. And let's do half notes just to minimize what we're looking at. All right. Oh, yeah. And this should be editable. Oh, ID is really boring. Parts. They don't use that. Titles, time signatures we care about. Okay. I think we could make this view better. I mean, that's way down on my list compared to what we're fixing here. Okay, but we appear to have fixed it. All right. And pipeline changed. I'm going to take that out. That was us trying to figure out what's going on. Okay, so let's commit that. Make pipeline an explicit state object so views update correctly. Okay. Now that's good. Okay. What we've done, we passed the environment object as a pipeline. So all these views that use it, like pipeline body and so on, they don't need to explicitly say it. Okay. What else did we see? Well, this function is now obsolete. Okay. Because whole body, we're calling the other struct now. I'm going to put the whole body, I think, I don't know. I always had this tension about should they be in the same file or not. And I don't know. I'm not sure how I decide that. But for now, I'm going to keep this one in this file. I don't know. Yeah. All right. Now, let's go back to pipeline. So we basically are starting to keep track of the active source, and we'd like to do the transformations and the syncs. Let's see. So select, basically, if you choose a source, that's the only one we're actively working on now. We're going to set the stage values of active, and then we'll store the stage as the active source. And then when you do like your pipeline, we work from active source. Okay. Now, active source is actually just a variable we track now. So we don't need to filter anymore. All right. So let's take this out. It's tied to the lifetime. There always is one. So this should not break anything. Now we will run tests. Oh, stage has no member create. Why not? Oh, because he doesn't know he's okay. So sources, okay, this was a compromise. I made this thing a stage. It really is a source. Let's go ahead and make that. We're going to have some corrections to do. Yeah, we got, can't assign a stage to a source. Okay. And I'm going to say we just proved it. We checked in 39 to make sure it is the source. So we're going to set it here. All right. And make sure everybody's okay. I was trying to avoid the cast, but I don't know. I don't know if you follow Ron Jeffries' stuff at all, but he's been working through this version of asteroids, and he's got collections of ships and asteroids and missiles and other saucers and splats. And he's got this ongoing tension between, do I want to keep multiple collections or one collection? And I don't know. I think he's gone back and forth 2 or 3 times now. Here I am kind of going back and forth. It's helpful to know. I mean, the alternative is I define 3 selects. Maybe I will in the end. We'll see. It does seem a little artificial to do this, but the person who's calling me, let's figure out who they are. Okay. Yeah, they don't know because that's the icons on the left, and they just know their stages that they're trying to select. So I think we'll just let that be. The other thing is I'd like a word that says both select and toggle. And I don't know, I kind of was thinking of poke, but let's find a thesaurus and see if we get inspired. Thesaurus, okay. Select, let's see what meanings we can pull from that. I mean, choose could work. Assign. No, I don't quite like that word. It's funny, they took a verb and they chose this version of it. Hire inmate. These don't do it. Choose is ambiguous enough that choosing a selected item deselects it. I can kind of buy that. Okay, I'm going to go with that. I don't want to spend all day looking at the thesaurus. So let's rename. Oh, well, all tests pass. That's good. Let's take out this line. That's where we started. And hopefully all tests still pass. Okay, I think we'll check that in. All right, so we make active source be a source rather than a generic stage. Okay. And that made that work. Okay, so let's choose. I think I said choose. Okay. Now, I think we don't need the constraint anymore. I think we're enforcing the pick one kind of thing, because if you're a source, we turn off whatever's active and we select you. Okay. Another thing we could do, if we are the active source, we could avoid setting it false and true. And I think that's okay. It's an optimization in a sense, but I think it will be a good one. If stage equals active source, return. All right, shouldn't break anything. Okay. Rename select to choose. Return right away if we're selecting the current item. All right. Now, let's go back to, well, I've got two things I want to do. So what have we done? Make pipeline own the select one constraints. Okay, let's follow that through first. All right, so in whole body, well, no, in pipeline selectors, we're putting that. That's not in pipeline body at all, is it? Pipeline body. Right. Those select one things are only for the source constraint thing. All right. Okay. And I believe we can take this out now. We're doing that strictly in the pipeline. Okay. So let's take this out. Go to pipeline selectors. Take that out. What did I take out? Oh, okay, yeah, take that out. Take that out. And where's source constraint? Okay, constraint. There is no source constraint. This can be nil. They're all going to turn nil in a minute or a few minutes. Okay, and then we can get rid of that too. All right, but I think we've successfully remove the constraint. So we're expecting the pipeline to manage that constraint. We tested that it does, but we haven't tested that that was the only way we got there. So test should be fine. Did we actually? Okay, that's an old message. All right, there it goes. And run. And if it works, we should still see the radio button. Oh. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, how are we going to know that? Okay, so I think what it's doing, if the constraint is nil, icon is just going to use the checkboxes. Okay, so let's find that. Well, let's find constraint. Oh yeah, there it was, is radio button. Okay, so constraint not equal nil. Okay, let's put in a dummy constraint for the moment. Pipeline selectors, stage. Let's just make one. Okay, so I'm just making an empty constraint. See if this will trigger things to work right. Something's a little funny though. I'm not sure. Oh no. Okay. Well, I'm trying to save me from myself. I guess I take that. Pipeline group. All right, let's do this nil, and let's add a mutually exclusive. True. Okay, I'm adding a new parameter here. Icon doesn't know it. All right, and then I'm adding it here. Okay. Okay, that's initialized. Don't know. Do I have to pass that down to icon? Yuck. But it's no different than passing this select constraint. Or mutually exclusive. Okay, I'm passing this in. Now, is radio button, I don't want that to be constraint. I just want it to be mutually exclusive. Okay. And we have to pass it in the selector as well. So this needs to pass mutually exclusive. And this really needs to say true. On here. And I guess it wouldn't hurt me to be explicit here. False, and let's just be explicit. Did I change that back to nil? I don't think I did. Oh, I did. Okay. All right, we're back to a button. Okay. All right, let's see if we can understand. Oh, I saw another neat thing. It's we can do it here. You can call self.print changes. Then you have to return this instead of, this is more like a command you're doing, and then now you don't have one value, so you got to be explicit and return it. All right. What this does, it prints to the console, why are you updating? Okay. And I saw some mention of another one. I think the idea was you would make each view random color, and then when it redrew, it would change the color, and so you'd get an instant spot of what it was redrawing. I'm like, oh, I haven't tried that one. All right. This now, can we get it over here? All right, if I click this, all right, why are you changing? Well, I saw settings changed twice. I don't know what's twice. It probably is turning this one off and this one on, is my guess. But we get a little notification of every change. Now, the problem we have is that it's not reflecting the change. And I'm not sure why that is. We'll leave that here for a minute. But, and actually you can also, let's get pipeline body. Yeah. What else? You can set a breakpoint. Let's do something that will force a redraw. Okay, so we get this breakpoint, and we can also print out self.print changes. I think like that. Yeah. So self changed. I'm not sure what that tells us. Well, in this case, the only thing we observe is pipeline, so it probably means pipeline changed, I guess. Okay. Now, the problem is we have things that aren't updating. All right, so let's continue. The filter and this, they work on the old mechanism. It's like we got the same problem we had before. I bet you this says manual. No, it doesn't. Huh. All right, are we calling select? Let's make sure that's the case. Click there. Ooh, we're not. What does that mean? These don't care. Choose, yeah, only those get choose. So, and we don't handle that one yet. All right, so what's going on? Okay, we do start out selected. Let's find icon. I don't know if icon's doing enough. Yeah. Okay, there's the tap gesture. If let constraint. Well, you would think any icon would respond to the tap gesture. Oh, it doesn't have a constraint. Okay. Oh, we're calling pipeline.choose. Oh, if there's a constraint. Okay. And there is no constraint, so we can't do this one. And Stage.isActive.toggle probably doesn't affect it. Okay. Let's be specific for a minute. Stage.stageType. Let's put those three cases in: source, transform, and sync. Okay. If it's a source, we want to just do this. All right. If it's a transformation, we want to do this. We're going to unify those at some point. And if it's a sync, well, if it's sync, we need to do this still. And we may have to put a bang on the constraint. I'm going to hide this. Case label on a switch. All right. Value of optional, select one. Yes. Okay. We know in the sync case, we will always have a constraint. We're going to get rid of that, but all right. So now we definitely call our choose function. Okay. That print is getting annoying. Okay. Yeah, it's calling it now. And it's swapped. And it goes back. Take the breakpoint out. And goes back. Okay. Nice. Okay, and we'll take this out of content view. What's hard about debugging these views is the problem is that the view doesn't change when you think it will. So if it changed when you think it shouldn't, you could break in and get a view of what's going on. But when it's just missing, it's like, Okay, so we'll run tests. Okay, so we've removed the source constraint. Rely on the pipeline. And I really want to rely on the pipeline because I think having the stage say, are you active or not, to me it's asking the wrong person. We want to ask the pipeline, are you using this? Because the stage itself, it doesn't really own that decision. It's the pipeline that, we could use the stage in a bunch of places, but the pipeline's the one that controls it. In our case, if the pipeline doesn't have it, it's inactive. And it doesn't matter if we have an active flag that says it's active. Our, our process method is, it's going to call active source.create. It doesn't matter what source says it's active. It's going to be the active source that the pipeline knows that counts. And it really is the pipeline's job to know that it's got an active value. Okay. Now, what can we do to make this cleaner? All right, I guess our to-do, we've Make pipeline own the select one constraints. Yes, we've done that. Yay. Okay, let's do the same thing for the sink. Make pipeline own the sink constraint. Oops. Okay, and then select one. How should that work? Well, that's becoming a non-issue. Okay, pipeline. So now the sink. Let's make our pipeline manage that. Okay, I'm going to change this to a switch. That is source. Case transform. Can I do a semicolon? Case.sync semicolon. No. What do? It's I guess break probably. I think I can do it that way. All right. Okay, that was just a refactoring. If becomes switch. Okay, now what I want to make happen is if you choose a sink, I want to, well, I basically want this stuff to happen. So we have a test that I think we can just build on. Pipeline knows whether stage is active. Okay, let's give it 2 sinks just so we have that chance. Okay. And we got our pipeline, sink 1, sink 2, and this is sink 2. Okay, so we chose source 2, and let's choose sink 2. Okay, should be active sink 2. And, well, let's say false first. Okay, thank you. Sync 1. Sync 1 is inactive, sync 2 is active. All right, this should fail. Okay, and it thinks sync 1 is active still. And let's go back. All right, so I'm going to take the same idea. You know, I guess I can do that too. If stage is active sync, and then we want to use this stuff. And we need an active sync. Okay. Whoops. Oh, good point. Okay. I expect to pass. Okay. And then we have another transformation we can do. Process, right? We got active sync. We don't need that anymore. We've already got the value sitting there. All right, this should be fine. Use active sync rather than walking through all syncs. Okay, a little slight improvement in performance as well. Okay. Now. Okay. Let's make that fall. Whoa, what's this? State object without being installed on a view. What are you complaining about? Well, maybe we need to push this back. I don't know. Okay, I want to try this again. Text input and file input. Okay, I want to get rid of this warning, but first I'm curious if we can, do we need that object anymore? Okay, let's run. Okay, I think that's a good step forward. All right, so, and we got rid of the error. Who's putting out this? Content view still has this. Okay. Whole body. Maybe we reverted it or something. All right. Now I want to push through the constraint on pipeline selectors. Okay, sync constraint. I don't think it's going to matter at this point, right? Okay, we got rid of that. Okay, so we should do this now. Pipeline choose. Okay. Right. Okay. I think we're okay. All right. So this should still be working. This one looks good. And it is swapping them out. Okay. Yeah, that's specific to the thing. Okay. Right. So now this constraint, wherever it got to, select one. Well, let's come from the top down. Pipeline selectors, the constraint is going to be nil. And that should work just as well. Good. All right, now constraint is always nil, so who needs it? All right. And this, I think, is saying what we want. It's saying the inputs are the sources and they are mutually exclusive. The transforms are the transforms. They are not mutually exclusive. And the sinks are the sinks and they are mutually exclusive. Okay. Now, we don't need constraint. Somebody should be complaining. Let's take this out. And we don't need a init anymore. All right. And somebody's got to be complaining. Come on. Like, where's constraint coming from? Pipeline group selector. Okay, he's optional, so we don't need him. And then we want to delete that from here. Icon. And he had a constraint. He's losing it. Okay. And that loses it. And this loses it. And its constraint is no longer referenced. That's all good. Okay. Let's build that. Somebody's still complaining. Oh, interesting. Oh, right. Pipeline. Yeah, we don't need that anymore. Okay. Test should pass. Very good. And let's just double check. I don't think that stuff should have changed it, but you know, it's worth checking. Alrighty. So we eliminated, oh, you were going to spell it right. Eliminated the constraint for the sinks. Okay. Good. Okay, and then the final thing is make pipeline handle the transform constraints or transform selection. Okay, and that really needs to be a toggle. Okay, so pipeline. Now this one's a little funny, and I actually am willing. Okay, so when you select a filter, say, all right, I filter, I quantize. If I turn off filter and turn it back on, the way it is now, these have a fixed order, and I don't really care about that. In fact, you might have reasons to want the order to change. I don't think filter. Well, it probably makes more sense to filter before you quantize, because quantizing is work applied to each thing that comes through. But I can imagine other transformations that I kind of want to manage the order, and it's primitive, but I could turn them all off and put them in the order I want. Quantize first, then filter. Well, I'm okay if that's what it does, but yeah. Okay. So I think this change is not a UI change. I mean, sorry, it's a UI impact only. It's a decision of what the UI does to get things. And it's kind of an interaction I'm willing to make pipeline not care about the order. All right, so let's find pipeline. Okay, so pipeline. It's kind of a pity. These are so similar. All right. What I'm willing to do, basically, I want to make a pipeline transformation be a toggle. Okay, and so let's make a new test that's focused on transformations. Okay, so let's test pipeline toggles transforms. Excuse me. All right, I think we got a source, two transforms, and one sink. All right, now the pipeline should start with empty transforms. And if you choose transform one, okay, let's do that. That should turn it on. And this should turn it off. Okay, that's the toggling. So let's assert true. It's active here. This is a rare case. Usually I invented the term arrange, act, assert, and usually I write my tests that way. Here's a bunch of arranging, okay? Set up all the stuff going in the pipeline. Here's an action, choose, and then make an assert. I don't usually write another action, another assert, but this sort of case I do because I want to make sure that it really did toggle on and that it really did toggle off. Okay, so here's false. Okay, and it's rare. I mean, this may be the only one in the setup. Okay. Now, sometimes I have an assertion after a setup to sort of say, do I really have it set up the way I know, I think I do? But that's fairly rare. Usually that could be two tests, and I might do that way. Okay. So this time I'm doing both these actions. So turn, I guess I don't need transform one or two for this test. Okay, turn transform one on, it better be active. Turn it off, select it again, it should turn off. All right, this test should fail. We don't do anything with transforms right now. Okay, and okay, so it failed to be false, so it's still on. All right, and let's see what we got. Okay, so this touches two things, I think. One is active. Right. Yeah. Let's turn this into a switch as well. Stage.StageType source. Okay, we'll do this. Transform something and sync. Okay, well, sync is easy too. Stage.id equals active sync.id. Okay, so Stage.isActive is still true, but we want to get that out in the long run. All right, now transformation. Well, we need active transforms. That's going to be an array of transform. Okay. So if active transform contains that item, then it's active. Okay. And we can ask is active, but that's not controlled, or it's still somewhat controlled by the stage. We're trying to make it completely controlled by the pipeline. So in this case, we want to return true if active transforms contains stage. Okay, and I think we can do it because we're identifiable. No. Conform to collection. Active transforms. Okay, what does this mean? No documentation. Let's go to array. Contains self.element. That seems like the right thing. Element conforms to equatable. I think our stages do. I believe we added that in. Yeah. Why are you thinking contain requires stage conform to collection? No, that just doesn't. Wait, did I set this? Active transforms. Let's set it. That shouldn't be a compiler error, but oops, but we want to. Okay. Active transforms. That just seems so weird. Let's try it again. Active transforms dot. Whether the collection contains, oh, other collection. I guess this is where. I don't want to know another collection. I mean, I can do first where. Wow, that's just contains where transform. Well, I can do that. I can do it with this. $0.id equals stage. Well, I don't even need id. Okay, do you contain any item where you are equal to the stage? Okay, let's make sure that still has one failure. Okay. We should still fail, but I think slightly differently than that. Yeah, wait. Well, I thought there would be. Okay. Right, we didn't choose transform 1 here, so it's catching us out that our transforms default to isActive true, and we should choose it if we want it to be true. It doesn't look at the item anymore, it only looks at the active transforms. Okay, so I don't like to fix it while I'm fixing something else, but that's what I'm doing. Okay, down, no. All right, let's make both these work. I think, oh, because choose doesn't work for transforms yet. Okay, you should have to choose. We don't support it, so let's support it. All right, so how do you deal with a transformation? Well, I think we want to say if is active of stage, okay, then we want to remove it, else we want to add it. Well, the adding it is, that's the part I'm like, oh, we're changing things. Okay. Before we used a fixed order. Now we're just going to add it presumably to the end. So let's do it. And we'll check that too. Append stage. Okay. So if it's not active, we're going to add it. And if it is active, we're going to turn it off. We're going to remove it. Oh, man. Why are you not cooperating? Append new element to the end of the array. Oh, I didn't say var up there, I bet. No, I did. Oh, and I assigned it, so yeah, I would complain if that was the issue. No exact matches in call to instance method append. Append new element of oh, I have to cast. Stage as transform. Okay, so I think I've dealt with half of it. I believe we will pass this one and this one, but we're not turning it off. Okay, so I think we'll move our failure down to 1 failure and 183. Very good. All right. And let's just implement the other side of that. Okay. So active transforms dot remove. I don't know the index. I don't want the remove. Oh, where? I guess that's what I got. What else? Let's look at documentation. Okay, finding elements. Whoops. Adding, combining, removing. I think it is remove all. Okay. Remove all. And we care about stage. Well, what are we doing? We're the predicate. Element. Okay, so $0 equals stage. Okay, we're moving from active transforms. All the items where we are equal to the stage that we're trying to remove. Okay. Good. All right, and then I think this test is it's going to be slightly, well, I think it's going to pass already. It's we chose a behavior, but let's document it. Pipeline includes transforms in the order they were selected. Okay, so, whoops, yeah, okay, transform T2. And we'll put them both in our pipeline. All right, so if we choose, let's choose 2, then 1. Okay, I think, can we see it? Yeah, I guess we can. We can say assert equal pipeline dot active transforms should be transform 2, transform 1. Okay. Because we're saying we do expose the order of that, which makes sense. All right. Now, anything else? Okay, we done is active. Active stages. Oh yeah, we can make this better. All right, but I guess let's lock in this. So we've finished selection. Make pipeline selection of transforms act as a toggle and put the last selected transform last. Okay, now our active stages, well, we go through and filter is active. We don't want to do that anymore. We just want to append the active transforms. And then I think, is there an append new element? We just want to append the active sync. And I think those are short enough. I could read them like that. All right. Oh, okay. What happened? How are you? Oh, I bet the order is funny. I don't know. Source one sync. All right, let's see what we've done. Okay, I don't think. I don't think this one's right. Okay, I don't think inactive. We don't want to do that anymore. All right, and then we're putting these all in active stages. We should only select the ones that we're selecting. Okay, so we need to do pipeline.select source one and transform one and transform 3 and sync. Okay, so those are the ones we've selected. Well, actually, pipeline has no select. Choose. Oh, yeah. we take the first one in source and sync. So we implicitly select those. All right. They're selected no matter what. Stages. Okay, and these are choose. Okay, so now we should get source 1, transform 1, transfer 3 map. All right. Let's make sure we do. All right. And as a matter of fact, I want to read these tests because I suspect things work differently. Okay. Well, we want to get rid of isActive, but we're not there. All right. So we apply transforms. That's our process. Yeah. Source T1, T2 sync. Good. Shoot. No, that's not legit. Okay. So the pipeline. Yeah, that really, we really should choose them. T1, T2, if we want them in there, we have to choose them. Transform 1. Transform 2. Can I make a variable? No. Transform 1. Transform 2. Okay, so to apply this, the pipeline only applies active stages. All right, so T1, T2, both active. Source and sync implicitly active. Okay. Sync dot output. Okay, sure. All right, this test should still pass, or should pass now. I guess it was passing, so it should still pass. Okay, this one, we need to choose the transforms again. Okay, and yeah, we want to choose them. Choose T1 and choose T2, T3. All right, and this test should pass. Okay, knows its active stages. Okay, we chose those. New pipeline selects first source as active. All right, we've demonstrated that. We don't have to explicitly choose. Selecting a source makes it active and other sources inactive. Okay, choose source 2 and make sure active stages is just that. Okay, yeah, reasonable enough. Pipeline knows whether it's active. Yes. Pipeline toggles transforms. Okay, we're down into the stuff we just worked on. All right, these should all pass. I think they're correct now. They're all looking at the pipeline, not the isActive flag, which is proper. All right, so we made Well, what was the change? Let's see. Oh, we made active stages use the active fields rather than a filter. Okay. Okay, now I want to bounce back a little bit. Handle the transformation selection as a toggle. Yes. Okay. The two things I want to do. One is remove state objects for individual stages. And the other is remove the isActive flag from stage. Okay. Now, I think we're close. I mean, I think this should work at this point. Let's tackle that real quick and see. Basically, that's inlining these other ones. We'll do the transforms first, and then the syncs if that works. Oh, no one's complaining. Okay, filter. Oh, okay, they still need it. For some reason. Why? Let's see if anybody does reference these. It doesn't appear. And yet it doesn't work. Okay. Now let's try the syncs. I mean, I think there's something different in how they're handled that controls this. Because it worked for the input stages, and these two are very symmetrical. Okay, we'll run again. Yeah, these appear to work. Should be empty. Okay. And I don't think anybody's referencing these. All right. It's a little mysterious to me why these aren't okay. There may be some artifact still. Okay, let's take a look for isActive, and then who uses this? There still are places, a lot of places. Okay, filter stage isActive equals true. Okay. That I don't think is right. Or it's coincidentally okay. Guard is active. Oh, well, there's transform. Right. Okay, I think that's actually unnecessary. But that wasn't the problem, right? The problem was, well, in the view thing, the problem was it didn't swap. So something isn't aware of what's active. All right. isActive true? This tests, we'll have to deal with the tests. Filter view. I think these are really not necessary. I think we should be asking the pipeline if we care, which I think top line maybe can ask. Okay. There's a toggle. Oh, is that right? No, that's not right. Okay, we want everybody to do pipeline.choose. Right. Okay, that explains it. Yeah, because the pipeline decides who's in or out based on the pipeline contents, not the isActive flag. And we no longer are setting that flag, are we? On this case. Right. We could. Let's do that real quick. Stage.toggle. Stage.isActive.toggle. Okay. I will be getting rid of this, but for now, because we set these, we should set this to be consistent. All right. Test should be fine. We're really only checking isActive from the pipeline. So what do I know? Okay. T1, T2. Source sync is not equal to T1, T2. Huh. Okay. Well, maybe that's not such a good idea. Where's that test? It does not include T1 or T2. Oh, yeah. Is toggle always right? I don't think it maybe is. Okay. If it's active, let's say stage.isActive equals false. And then stage.isActive equals true. Huh. Okay, it's blocking this as well. Well, it wasn't there before. I don't want it there now. Test should pass, I think. I'm not sure what we left in place. Okay, yeah. And then run should be okay. Let's make sure that's true. Oh, it's not. Okay. We're gonna have to back up. I think our last check-in was stage declarations, active fields, probably this. Okay, let's take a break and then we'll come back and restore, probably restore this version, make sure it fails, restore this one, make sure it passes, and then we'll know we did something in the transform. Okay. Let's see, 3 or 4 minutes and we'll be back. All right, welcome back. So we're going to come, let's see, we got any changes active? No. Okay. Let's revert to this one. Okay. And we will do a clean and a clean, whoops, clean build. Okay. Test should pass. Good. And this is the version that fixed this and didn't touch this, so that should be okay. All right, so that version is okay. We're on Let's get up to the, we're on 861. Okay. Let's go to this one. This was the transform one. Switch here. Okay. Do a clean and a clean. Run tests. And run the app. And I'm suspecting there'll be a problem in here. Oh, that works. Okay, let's work our way forward. We're on 5E. Okay, 5AA, 77D, active stages use this. Test should pass. And who knows whether this will work or not. Okay, something in this did it. Well, interesting. The change in pipeline, we went from appending the active transforms there and the active sync. Okay. All right. Let's see these again. Okay, so I'm gonna cherry pick this code back. Not get cherry pick, just manually cherry pick it. Okay, so let's check out this. Switch to that version, yes. What mean? Okay. Clean the build folder. Run tests. They all pass, I believe. That's where we left things. Okay, and then this active stages was this code. Transforms.filter is active, syncs.filter is active. Okay, so the theory is if I do this, the test should still pass. No, they won't, because there's something about... Wait, what? T2 inactive? Right. Okay. So now it's getting left in there. Okay, I think test transform, let's modify that. Is active true? I don't think it should say that. This may break a bunch of tests. Not tons, but there may be a few. Okay. Who's failing? So source T1, T2 sync. It does not have T1, T2. Okay, and let's see the run. Even though the tests don't pass, this should still work. Okay, that should still work. All right, what's going on here is the old test transforms always said, they always started off true, even though putting them in the list didn't make them true. Choosing them is what makes them legitimately is active. Okay, so now I think I want to do this. I think I have to do this to say Stage.isActive equals false and true. Okay, so in these cases, I've maintained my active source as well as the flags according to what they should be. Right here, if you removed it from the active, its active flag should be false. If you added it, it should be true. All right, let's see. I don't know if that will fix these or not. Okay, that does fix those. Now let's make sure we're still... Does this work? Yes. Okay, I think... Let's capture that. Make pipeline.choose set is active for transformations as well as the others. Okay, I think that's a step. Now what's going on here? All right, let's take the easy one first. Result.append active sync. Okay. Okay. And that should not affect this. Okay. Right. Input file blank. Okay. Okay. Now this, I think, well, we ran into trouble last time, so what I think is not necessarily going to help. Result.append contents of active transforms. We'll take that out for a moment. Now, is somebody going to hate that? Okay, and it's the run. I think this is where we saw the error in the run before, but maybe, no. Okay. let's stop in here. Okay, so if I do this, someone should ask active stages. All right, let's print active transforms dot map to ID name. No active transforms. Okay, now let's go through print is it transforms or do we call it all? No, just transforms. Transforms dot map 0.isActive false. Okay, continue. Now if I press this, I guess I want to know if I come through here. Okay, hit quantize. Active does not. Okay, I think we've had this problem in icon. Yes, okay, we want to do pipeline dot choose stage. Okay, so I take a pipeline stage. He does choose it. Okay, let's go over. It's not active, so we add it in, and stage is active. Okay, print stage.isActive should be true. Transforms should have one true, one false, and is active transform should have one item filter. Okay. Continue, continue, continue. Yes. All right. Delete all breakpoints. All right. Now if I add filter again, it should come at the end. Yes. And turn quantize off and on. Okay. I don't know if that's as intuitive. If I wanted to make it come in the same order, it's going to be some more work. But I really do want to allow multiple filters at some point. My other question was, at some point I thought about like maybe I should put these icons across the top or the bottom. Maybe make them a little more narrow. Although I don't have much room to go narrow. Okay, I think those are working. And then in icon, if you notice, every step says pipeline.choose stage. So let's just do that once. We don't need the switch anymore. Okay, now test should pass. Everything should run. Okay, well, let's just run a case through just to make sure. We'll quantize that to quarter note level and do the melody average. Okay. Yeah. Good. All right. Let's check that in. Well, yeah. Okay. All right. Now, is active. Let's go back to that search. Self.isActive equals true. I believe I can take this out. All right. And filter stage is active. Nope. That's different. Okay. I think I can take this out. Okay, so this is saying that let's make sure tests aren't complaining about the first one, but the filter one, well, there you go. Select one test. Oh wait, select one goes away. Nobody should be using this anymore. Mutually exclusive bool. Here's select one. Here's select one test. Okay, so let's delete this class. Select one. Delete. And select one tests. Delete. Okay. And okay, and when we run this should affect that because file input, the pipeline will take it because it's first. The pipeline will select it first. Same thing for Parsons code. All right, and I think if we find Parsons code stage, Parsons stage is active true. Okay, so those two, we just put them in to force them to show up before when pipeline didn't own the active state. But now we're closer to pipeline owning it, and they should be fine. Yeah, so Parsons code is still the selected one, and file input is still selected. So, okay, so we, let's run those tests one more time. We deleted unused select one and its tests, and we removed flags as for filter stage and file input stage. Remove their I'll say it this way. How about no longer set is active? That's managed by the pipeline. Okay, and let's look for is active. Okay, now this one, this is saying if the stage is not active, don't use it in the pipeline. Well, I think that's from the old days when the pipeline was everything and it was just skipping over the stages that didn't count. So this, I don't think there may be a test specifically for that, but nothing else should be relying on that. Because how do you get in a pipeline if you're not there to start with? Okay, so make filter no longer test is active before running. Okay. I think that's the same thing. Okay. Stage tests. Right. This doesn't, empty filter text does not filter. This should not matter now. Well, let's set it to false. Verify it still passes. Okay, so that flag is irrelevant now. Is active true? Again, irrelevant. Test. I guess if we have one that tests this flag false, that's the test we get rid of. No, I don't see one. Okay, those are gone. Filter view is active. Well, let's see what top line's doing with this. Is active. I don't think it should care. Let's save that one. Okay. Oh, there's an is active. Pipeline is active. Okay. That's fine. Pipeline is active. Those were okay. Is active. I think somebody's a little out of date. Okay. Pipeline process. Oh, we can get rid of this one. Okay, let's see. We got some changes though. Let's. Do we? No. Okay. Yeah, this one, active transforms, should be actively managed right now. So we create it, we transform it, and then we consume it. All right. Active transforms. Good. Make pipeline.process use active transforms rather than filtering. Okay, we've gotten rid of multiple places in here that we're going around and you know, doing the filter by is active or not. Okay, so pipeline, we got all those setters. Yep, that's fine. Pipeline tests. Now this should not be true anymore. Nobody should start true, I think. That may break some tests that assumed it, but I think we've mostly got rid of those. Okay. Test source. Okay. And test sync. Let's take care of that one. Okay. This is really test stages. Okay, and we're good there. All right, so let's find stage is active. Let's see, I never did establish what this does. I'm glad it succeeded. Let's do a clean build, clean tests. build. I'm trying to get these to not include the junk ones. Right. How about well, I don't see as active there. Okay. Filter view. Okay, this is the top line thing. The thing is, I don't think top line cares if you're active. What does he do with it? He is active. He defaults to true. He sets it. He sets it true. I don't think anybody's using it. Okay, let's find usages of this. Set. Okay, let's take this out. We'll get some complaints. All right, but this is true. I'm surprised. I don't know if that needs to know that. I guess it does. That's the display in the main pipeline. It puts the icon on the left. Okay. Build will tell us what colors actually call top line. Like this one. And this one. Okay. All right, these icons look good. They're marked active. Okay, they don't include the radio button. I wonder why that button looks smaller. Is that just an illusion? Okay. All right, everything still selects. All right, so remove it. Oops. Remove is active from top line. All right, who else talks about is active? Okay, that uses that. I don't know. Okay. Pipeline. Yep. Vertical act. Oh, is active uses Stage.active. Now that seems like the wrong place to ask these days. I wonder if you could just pass the stage. I don't know. Is radio button true? What is this? Input view. Oh, this is irrelevant. Well, I think this one also can say, I want to see my stage view, my input view. Is that the same thing 3 times? Line 35, line 35, line 35, line 35. No, same thing 4 times. Okay. Let's run this. This is input view, so we've got to pay attention to what's showing there. It's got the right tag or icon. Looks good. Okay. I think we had one place that could go to the pipeline. Icon really does need to know if it's active. Oh, it's asking, is that pipeline? Okay. Let's get these locked in. Okay. Oh, he does know pipeline. Okay. Wait, he's kind of the bottom line guy, right? Yeah. Boy, all this seems like we could, I don't know. Is active. Why does vertical icon need that? Is active. I wonder if I could pass that in. Okay. Let's go. These pipeline ones, we check those explicitly. This, I think, is no longer needed. Right? Because everybody starts out false. Okay, they're no longer a source of truth for us. Source 1 is active, source 2 is inactive. Yes, that's true by default. Okay. We're getting there. I just wish I could convince it to recompute this, but I don't know how to do that. Okay, is active. Nope. Pipeline, we don't care. Oh, quantizer setting view. Disabled. Quantizer setting view. I don't think that's relevant now. Let's make sure what source is. Source is a quantizer stage. This variable should be stage. So if the stage is disabled, if it's active, if it's not active, we're going to disable that stuff, but we won't show the stage at all unless it's active. So I'm going to say that's useless. Okay, that is quantizer. There's no way it can become inactive, so, okay. Let's see if we can do that with the rename now. Ugh. Compiler will tell us. Should be some callers that are not happy. Okay, this is source. Those are arguably sources. This is a stage. Okay, let's change that one. Okay, there were a couple things in this. That's the rename, but down here, rename. I think we removed disabled. Yeah, okay. Rename source to stage in a few places. Remove disabled test in quantizer stage. All right, so what is left? Guard is active. Okay, same thing. We won't call the transform unless it's active. And actually, that was never, I don't think that would ever be the right place. Okay, who's picky? Passes along back to, okay, we're not going to test that because it's not relevant behavior. Okay. And quantizer stage, I saw something else funny there. There was an is active. Is active. We're not going to create a quantizer.none because it's always active. We'll build one. All right. Test should pass. And again, there's no chance you get through here without something set. So let's try and break it. Okay, I think it defaulted it in to 1. Yeah. If it doesn't convert, it changes it to 1. All right, I can live with that. Stage. Okay, icon does not use it. Quantizer stage. Yep. Transform.isActive. quantizer when active. I guess this is always the case now. Okay. Remove more references to isActive. All right, I think we're down to pipeline. Let's take these out. I don't think any tests rely on that anymore. All right. Okay, we got this one. We can switch, add this in, take it out. Okay, let's pull in a real case. Let's take time signature 4 and quantize it on quarter notes. We'll open up Noscalin and take a look. Yeah, that looks nice. Most common is arrest. All right. I think we're good. Remove isActive from pipeline. Okay, and then stage. We're running out of references. That does not have it. That does not have it. These, I think, all went away. Yeah, this flag. I think we can get rid of that. Let's run tests. There's conceivably a test. Well, no, we would have seen it. I was going to say there could be one that does check the flag, but, you know, making sure a flag can set and clear, not something I do very often. All right, now, so stage, it's observable object, but it doesn't have anything observable, but the children do, so that's okay still. All right. And yeah. All right, so, let's run manually. Again, nobody was referencing it. I don't see any reason they would have a problem. Okay, so we've removed isActive flag from stage. Yay. That was all right. Now, I still want to say that the reason these were problems was because of the isActive flag, but I can't really say for sure. Let's take a go. I don't think anybody references them. We won't create those. All right. Now, I also wonder if settings changed is really pulling its weight. Okay. The problem was more likely to be in runtime. Okay. Manual input, filter, do your thing. Quantize, do your thing. Remove, add it back to the end. All right. Statistics, and okay. Another idea I had was to put a little close box on here and let you remove it by that and turn these into plus signs. I don't know if that's an improvement or not. I think there could be a little padding around that. Let's let this lock in. I'm critiquing minor stuff. Okay, so we remove state objects for the filter or transforms. Cool. This is getting quite simple. You got to build a pipeline. And I really could push this back to the app now. Yeah. That might be reasonable. Okay. Now pipeline. Okay, we're going through our gyrations to get this thing in here. Once it's in there, we put it in the environment object so anybody can just get to it. So let's find who references pipeline. Because I think some people are still passing it around. That one has to pass in. That's environment object. Pipeline itself. Pipeline body. Right. That one can be environment object. Object. Only if it needs it. All right. So we'll take this stuff out, and the callers of this should be complaining. Pipeline body should not need it anymore. Okay, I think that's the same error. Okay, now what pipeline body is doing is, oh, he does use pipeline. Okay, but he doesn't need to pass it down to stage view. I still don't know the quite best way on this stuff, but I think environment object for stage view is an improvement too. All right, so let's make this environment object. This comes in, no longer passes in, and no longer gets stored. And who's using pipeline in here? Oh, sync views need it. All right. And let's find out why they need it. Oh, this is a perfect example. Nobody in here needs it for their own benefit. They're just passing it along to another view. Okay, sync view uses pipeline. Is that to get the isActive? No. Pipeline. He passes it to sync view. Oh, wait a minute. That's just a preview. Okay. Well, nothing in here references it. Okay. Sync view. Now this, I think we have to we want to make this a state object. Okay, sources is going to be this. And transform is going to be this. These three are no longer needed. And sync view is just going to take this with environment object being pipeline. Okay. Oh. Active sync will work. Okay. And what's going on? Sync argument for parameter 2. Okay, stage view. Parameter number 2. That looks like an old message. This does not. Okay, this just needs the view. Okay, now where were we with the filter view? Who had the preview? Report view. Okay, let's see if this will work. I may have messed up something in here. I don't know if I should. Okay, that's fine. I don't always declare previews. I don't know if that's bad form on my part. Okay, but this enter only already. Okay, so we removed used pipeline in environment object where possible. And I don't think we got them all, but let's take what we got. Okay. What's our search still? Okay. State object, no choice. Icon, environment object. Pipeline, okay, irrelevant. Oh, pipeline body. Now environment object. Environment object. Sync view. Not there anymore. Not needed anymore. Right, passed in the environment because sync view needs it. Oh wait, does it? Sync view, does top line? Top line doesn't need the pipeline. Okay, sync view. Sync shape. Again, doesn't need the pipeline. I'm not sure why we need that. If it blows up because it's not there, then we'll put it back in. But no, it shouldn't need it. Okay, good. All right, well, this gets simpler then. It just needs a sync. So Parsons stage. I'll force that to redraw just to make sure it's okay from scratch. Good. All right, well, that's easier. Okay, now, well, this is a leftover thing. We have 3 casts here in the UI, which I would really rather not have. And I'm not sure. I mean, this is a helper view, so maybe it's not needed. All right. I mean, I don't know if my views are maybe too big. Okay, boy, this is good. Why is pipeline in here? I think we got rid of that. Yeah. Don't need it. Okay. So these stages get to get rid of it, and I don't think our stages here needed it either. Does this need that? Oh, it does. Observed object. Okay. Right. No pipeline down there. Okay. So let's see. What have we changed? Okay. Run tests, run the app, and see where we are. Get back to our to-dos. Remove state objects for individual stages. We did that. Remove the isActive flag. We did that. We'll run. Okay, these swap in nicely. These come in nicely. Oh, I love it. A lot, pretty limited amount of work to get those nice transitions. Let's just say it that way. All right, and let's just, since this is probably our last check-in for a week or so, quantize by a quarter and view the melody average. All right, that looks good. Nice spread among these. All right. Okay. I'm happy. So we removed unneeded references to pipeline. All right. So would I say improve view structure? Yes, I would say we did that. Type checks in sync view, and this is maybe part of, I think I'm going to go back to what I did before. The report, I mean, all these things now, they all have a view button on them, and you click on the view button to show the report as a pop-up. I'm going to just make that back to being in the file here, or in the main display. I don't think that's adding anything. So these, some of them have, well, sorry, this one does not have a control. The statistics has a control, and like extra clicks to get there, like annoying. All right. But I could have that control in here just as well. I also want to make this a table. Okay, so this is pull sheet into main view. Eliminate type checks in sync view. Use table for statistics results. Okay. Pipeline selection operate from model. I'm not going to worry about drag and drop right now anyway. Okay, well, let's leave that one as an idea. Okay. I think we'll do that, and that'll do us for view type stuff. All right, let's see. So I should mention I got a new blog article out today on a refactoring, extracting a local lambda. I believe we did this along the way in here somewhere, but sometimes you have a block of code. You don't want to do a full extract method. You just want to make a little lambda, and maybe you want to move that lambda function around or pass it as a strategy, or maybe just do some refactoring. This gives you a couple ways to do that. I don't use it often, but it's handy sometimes. You can sign up on my site. If you go to update, there's a form you can fill out to get emails. Usually it's about once a month, and let you know about that. The other one is I've got this comics page with, right now I'm doing a series on Swift UI and the data, and we got burned by one of them today, right? We fixed it. We had observable objects that had not been declared as state objects. So it really is important to do that. All right. I'm adding one today. I think it's on, I'll have to check, but hopefully by the end of the day, there'll be another one out there. So kind of here's what's going on type thing. All right. I'm off next week. I'll be back. Let's see. What is that? 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 13th, the 13th, I think Monday the 13th, whatever that is, and pick up from there. My normal time is 1 to 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time or 6 to 8:30 p.m. UTC. I hope you enjoy what you saw today and come back sometime, and have a good weekend and a good week. Take care. Bye-bye.